welcome to the second day of the Copenhagen R6 Major. I'm Jeannie, your host for today, and yesterday we had already said goodbye to 2 teams, which means that only 14 teams remain. And with 2 groups competing against today, that means another 2 are going to be going home by the end of today. Now, let's have a look at yesterday, starting off with Group B specifically, because that's where we've seen action, well, to be fair, in every single one of these groups, starting off with NIP up against 6 Karma. 6 Karma took this one convincingly, heading into that upper bracket, joined by Space Station Gaming, and Elevate dropping to the lower bracket, losing the best of 3 up against Ninjas in Pajamas, which meant that unfortunately on the first day, Elevate was one of the teams that we sent home. Looking at Group C was the exact same in terms of the amount of games. We had 2 best of 1, starting off with Revan up against Northception. Revan winning, getting into the upper bracket, joined by Sonics later on as they took on La Vega, but the Northception up against La Vega matchup went in favor very heavily of Northception, and therefore La Vega is home as well. Today, we're going to be starting off with Group A. Those are going to be the flat later games today, but just in terms of alphabetical order, Sandbox is going to be going up against Fury in a best of 1. Winner goes up into that upper bracket final, and M&M against Falcons, who are making that MENA debut here at the Major for the first time ever. So a warm welcome to them. Losers are going to be dropping to that lower bracket, just like yesterday. The other 2 best of 1s that we're going to be having a look at is going to be from Group D, and that are the first games happening here today. We're going to be starting off with W7M Esports up against Team Bliss. Winner, as you're used to by now, goes into the upper bracket, and then Wolves up against Varel. So, just like yesterday, if for some reason you didn't tune in or you happen to forget, the structure is as follows. We're going to be starting off with 4 best of 1s. That's going to be heading into 2 best of 3s, which means we can be expecting a whole lot of Siege just as usual. And that's it from us for now. A little introduction, a quick little look at the bracket, and setting the expectations for today. I'm going to be heading over to a quick break, and we'll be back shortly. Guys, welcome. We have the first best of 1 coming your way. W7M Esports up against Bliss. And I mean, as much as you might be wondering what is she doing there by herself, trust me, I'm not alone. I do have some casters to actually help us walk us through this. And it's going to be Zanak and Gus. Guys.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello.
Welcome. First time here. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going great. And obviously we are excited because we get to cast W7M. Not Team Bliss.
No bias, of course.
No bias
you guys are
at
going to
all.
be completely unbiased, no favor. You're going to be the biggest hypes for W7M, right?
Well, exactly. We're not going to be biased, surely. No bias.
No.
If anything, we might be biased to W7M.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, guys. Take it away and show us the bias.
Yeah, we've got a big game to start. Day 2, and as we know, of course, day 1 was not a good day for APAC. Guys, a little sage tear rolling down our cheek, but maybe a chance for redemption for day number 2. Of course, it begins Team Bliss from Oceania, which is still part of that wider APAC region, a team that will be making their debut. Not all of their players, they do at least have some experience in the former Fisher guy, but ultimately as a team, they're going up against a W7M roster that is stacked with experience.
The runners-up from the last SI, of course, a couple of roster change for W7M, but they are formidable roster, and despite qualifying for phase 1, they obviously come from an incredibly competitive region. So W7M, they go in as favorites, but hopefully we have a close best of 1, because unfortunately yesterday, most of those matches were lopsided.
Never goes the way that we want it to go, though. Obviously for W7M, right? 3rd place in the Brazil League, so they didn't quite get the top 2 spot. They didn't quite get the ability to go straight to phase 2, hence why they're here now. But surely 3rd place in the Brazil League should be pretty much good enough for even top spot in all of the APAC leagues themselves. That's kind of the expectation for me, at least coming into this game. This is a game that they've got to do well, that they've got to win, and we've got to find out where we're going to. So map vetoes, of course, best of 1 to start today. Kafe is where we're going. Bliss getting the opportunity to choose between Oregon and Kafe. Now, we did a little bit of the homework and stuff. I had it down to Kafe, Chalet, or Border. Those were the maps I felt Bliss would be looking for. They got at least one of them, but Kafe is no safe haven.
No, unfortunately, the data is a little bit limited for both of these teams. They only played it once throughout the first stage, and they both found some success. Team Bliss, it's obviously difficult for us to get a read as to transferring that form into the major. They had a dominant first stage. The level of oceanic play is, of course, far lower than Brazil. So we look at those results for Bliss and we go, great, they won every game. That's awesome. Yeah. But now you're versing the big boys, right?
Yeah. Undefeated, obviously, for Team Bliss back in the Oceania League. Top spot got them here in terms of competition. Not a whole lot, unfortunately. I think Oceania probably one of the weaker periods, unfortunately, in the history of Siege. Obviously, you got the likes of Wildcard. There were Circular Spheres. They made a good little run up as well. Homeless, former Knights, of course, were amongst the pack as well, which was actually the team that they defeated on Kafe 7-3 back in the regular stage. For W7M, though, of course, they played FaZe against them in the, what was it? I guess the lower bracket, and obviously FaZe ended up getting that win. That was to go to the upper bracket semi-final. That was basically to go to FaZe number 2. But unfortunately, they lost that. They did win on Kafe, though, so they had that in their loss against FaZe. Kafe, to begin, best of 1. Bliss taking on W7M. Doesn't get harder than that to start here at the major for Bliss.
Trial by fire. But they would have come into this tournament expecting stiff competition. They arrived a couple of days early, got in some good boot camps. The word on the street is Bliss have done okay in scrims. So take from that what you will.
I don't take a whole lot from scrims though, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really take a whole lot. Now, very quickly, the operator fans, Montaigne comes straight out from W7M. That's an interesting decision, not something that we probably would have expected. I had the likes of Ying and Valk. In fact, it's Bliss that banned out the Ying. Ying, an operator that W7M have banned out quite a lot, though they didn't against FaZe on Kafe. They went for the Buck, they went for the Solus, and I'm expecting the Solus from W7M. Maybe the Valkyrie here from Bliss.
So as Army gets taken out, we know her prevalence throughout stage 1, back at SI as well. Incredibly prevalent, difficult to deal with, and annoyance for the attack. And keeping in mind, Bliss start attack, they have attack in OT, so they want to alleviate a little bit of that pressure, and then Valkyrie to round things off. So that does keep the Solus in play. Kafe naturally already very difficult to drone. With the Solus in play, expect teams to struggle to find pre-placed drone positions.
Last time these two teams played on this particular map, as Army was banned out by Team Bliss, they also got rid of the Habana. Obviously, little change up and a massive change up, obviously, for the side of W7M, who took out Buck and Solus last time. Now they get rid of the Montaigne and the Valkyrie. Valkyrie, though, very common ban across pretty much all maps for W7M. So we get underway. And Bliss will be attacking to start things off. They will also be attacking in overtime if it gets there. And I guess the relevancy for that is Kafe is going to be super defender-sided here, massively defender-sided. 67% defensive win rate in Oceania and 66% defensive win rate in the Brazil League. So both of these two teams will be looking to the defense first and foremost. Obviously for W7M, means that they've got an opportunity to get some rounds on the board early, put the pressure right onto Bliss.
And I don't want to overemphasize this point too much, but we briefly mentioned, right, Solus makes it through the ban phase, makes it difficult to drone. Look at that economy, top left for Bliss. They've already lost 3 drones in prep phase. And one of their biggest strengths throughout OS League was their ability to pre-place drones and then play off that immediately, especially early round, allowing players like Jigsaw to get entry. So with that information now being stunted and difficult to gain, we'll have to see how Bliss adapts. Again, it's going to be something they would have practiced in their scrims on the lead up to this against better level of competition, but now it's the real deal.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what you were saying. Obviously, yeah, they've done all right in scrims. It's always a good feeling, but you can't really take away too much confidence from that. You've got to keep your expectations quite realistic and understand this is going to be a very difficult task for W7M. For Bliss. Don't get it twisted. W7M here, heavy favorites. And obviously being on the defense first of Kafe, a good start here could put some pain onto Bliss. But on the flip side of that, Bliss can start well and obviously could give them the confidence to kick on. Attacking first, it will be through Bakery here on Kitchen to begin the opening round.
Yeah, so an extension here from W7M, and Bliss seem pretty content to try and push through it.
Let's see what I can find.
Daisy up above, you can see the power there of the Solus gaining information. Can spot out things like Claymores and Oda. One of the best players in the OS League taken down first in this matchup. Fisher to follow.
In the world, would say Dev.
Well, the stats would say so.
Not the start he would have liked, and obviously losing Fisher guy, not ideal. That's your hard breacher gone. Jigsaw low on health, one of the top fraggers in the APAC region, was on IG, obviously last year as well, probably didn't reach the heights that we liked. Does find the kill there. Sage as well through Code. Oh, double kill for Sage! And Bliss find themselves back into this round. It's just down to Herds and JV. Why still up? Obviously with a 1.5x now, very deadly, something to keep in mind.
Sage and Brendo, literal brothers, and we have seen the clutch potential from those two in the past, but now the clutch G needs to be in the hands of W7M. A good push there. JV92 can reclaim that cross, but now he's low on HP, and Jigsaw, that's a freebie.
Yeah, had the information, obviously, from that swing. Outside of Coat meant that Jigsaw had the sight line to be able to get that trade. Hertz in a 1v2. This could be the dream start, but Jigsaw gives away his position. Inside of prep, though, for Hertz. His position known to Brendo. Sludges his way in, makes his presence known as well, though, for Hertz. Can't shoot through that reinforced wall. And in goes Brendo. In a 1 versus 1, knows that Hertz is still inside of prep.
Well, he crosses, so good position. Jiggles for info. It's an awkward 1v1 to open up this game, but Herd's able to just clutch it out.
Big missed opportunity. Big missed opportunity. You're not going to get many chances, unfortunately, for Bliss. That's a big moment there from Herds. Essentially a 1 versus 2. Played it well, played on that contact through prep, got the barrel sticking out from Jigsaw, gets that kill, doesn't panic, doesn't try to reposition immediately, waits for a bit of a sound cue from Brendo, gets it from there and plays off of it. So really well played from Herds. And that's just experience showing through. Had the pings as well, you could see there. Unfortunately for Brendo, he still had about 40 seconds. Could have gone for something a little bit more, but ultimately just wanted to take the fight, lost out. But as I said, big opportunity gone for Bliss. You're not going to get many rounds here on the attacking half of Kafe against a team like W7M, and that one was honestly theirs for the taking.
I think there's still some positive signs. We may have expected them to just come out and get absolutely rolled, but it's at least something to build off with. We are seeing some of those key players step up, right? Sage, Jig. They're going to be the firepower, especially if Oda doesn't show up, right?
And in the first couple of rounds especially, you're going to be nervous. For these guys, maybe not Fisho, who's obviously been here before, but everyone else hasn't been at this kind of level against this kind of caliber of opponent. So you're going to be a little bit nervous. The adrenaline's going to be running through you. You're not quite sure how to control all of that. And obviously, in the end, if you can get those early round wins, it kind of settles those nerves a little bit. It's like, hey, we do belong. We can play against these guys. We did it in scrims. We can do it now as well when it matters. Either way, over towards reading a fireplace for the second round. W7M will extend up above. No real surprises with that. Fleetbox will bring the mirror. Something to contend with here for Bliss.
And that mirror really can shift the dynamic up above, right? Kafe plays that very differently. If the mirror is banned, you don't have to deal with that utility and the long lines of sight that can be generated from deep in towards the objective. So that's something that Bliss will no doubt need to be ready for, especially if they want top floor control. Oda currently on the cocktail repelled. And we hyped him up. Yeah. Big numbers, big fragger, big player throughout stage 1.
And I do want to say as well, because some people might be seeing Blitz for the first time. They'll go and check on Wikipedia. It's like, oh, these guys 7-0 this league. They don't know what maybe losing is like for them. No, these guys have been around for a long time now in the Oceania League. They struggled to get into APAC South when that was part of the ecosystem. They always lost in those qualifiers, those rallies, promo rally matches. So they know what it's like to suffer defeat, to have that heartache. It's kind of been more of a breakthrough season for them this year in the Oceania League. So they know what it's like to deal with that. So they won't be too dismayed by losing a round or two early on here. This is a wonderful spot, though, for Nade with that Nitro Cell on the rappel. KZ over towards that piano position. Nitro Cell goes down, and Oda loses his life. He has not even been able to fire his gun. The highest rated player in Oceania has not even got really off the board yet. KZ in control over towards piano, gets the kill on Sage, and W7M firmly in control of this second round.
And typically, this is a position you expect the Azami to be locking down with key barriers. Not the case. Bliss did ban it out, but KZ still locking down that spot, having an impact. And Bliss now needing to rotate around and try to manufacture a play elsewhere. Herds, though, catches Brendo, leaves Jig in the 1v4. Starting to unravel a little bit here. And we talked about heartbreak, right, for Bliss. W7M, they lost their sight, so they know what that pain feels like as well.
Yeah. Lose their sight. Also, then a couple of roster changes off the back of that for them. So 2 players go out. Julio and Phelps no longer there. And you pick up, in my opinion, though, a very talented player in Fleetbox, at least from MIBR. And obviously Nade as well, coming over from Black Dragons. And it is a team that's probably now looking towards the future, not worrying too much about the past, about those missed opportunities. SI, Yonkoping as well, 3rd, 4th finish. So they got close there at that major. This is a team with a lot of experience, and it's it's a team that I think will take Bliss seriously as well. I don't think they would come into this and think, oh, well, they're from Oceania, doesn't matter, we'll deal with them comfortably. I think they'll come in and treat them with a lot of respect, and that second round probably showed it.
I think you have to. This is an unforgiving format. You could go home today. If you disrespect your opponents, you get caught off guard, you lose the BO1 into the BO3, you're packing your bag, you're going home tonight, right? So it's incredibly unforgiving in that regard. And W7M, of course, in the Brazil League, just falling short into the Phase 2 qualification, losing out to FaZe, of course. So they are playing a little bit off the back foot, but with so much experience and so many good results in the past, the expectation is for them to make it.
So as we head to Bar Cocktail here, third round, Bliss are kind of now on the verge of basically being beaten around the world. Losing down below, middle, and now potentially on top. This is a good opportunity for them on a site where you don't have to worry too much about the map control. You can be close, you can look to just get top red control, clear out shop, and then eventually lounge. From that position, Bliss can then attack site. And I like the Docker B here from Oda. Maybe he can look to keep some of those more longer sight lines, try and be able to hit some early shots. Well, there is one actually from Jigsaw on to Herds. That's a nice early kill for Bliss, and that's going to help them here. This is a gettable site for me. I think Bar Cocktail's really gettable here for Bliss.
And unless W7M want to fill that gap back in, and it looks like KZ might fulfill that role, Herds was probably going to lock down this position again. We saw Bliss had issues last round clearing out lounge, so now that pressure lays on KZ to try and fulfill that role, which is going to be quite tricky.
Philippox on the Solus, though, has been brought out. Was obviously banned by W7M last time they played FaZe on this particular map. With JV on the Oryx, they've got themselves some really offensive firepower on the defense. Brenda over towards the Skylight position, and he will just sit and watch for some time. This will probably be a somewhat slower round. That's my prediction. I don't think Bliss will get too aggressive here. Jigsaw on the rappel, almost finds another. And KZ will just continue to sit in his position. This position here, though, typically played by an Azami, but of course banned out by Bliss.
Just increases the risk factor here for the defense, but it is still a position that is critical to hold, create a buffer towards the side drop, prevent the pressure from a red drop, for instance, from Heaven as well. But Bliss are tuned in. They're wanting to clear this out. I'm sure they'll gain a little bit of information and head in the likes of Oda May before the entry. Oda does light up the kill feed, trades out Sage. KZ, though, still holding down the fort through lounge. That might be his cue to start falling back a little bit, because he knows if he dies here, yeah, pretty much round over.
Falls back to washrooms. Logic Bomb has gone out from Oda off the back of that kill. Has one more available. There's still over a minute remaining. On Bar Cocktail site, you've got a lot of time here if you're Bliss. JV just lurking over towards White Stairs, makes his way up towards the top side. Makes, I guess, sure that they can't push through that corridor. Get some extra pressure and presence over towards that area for W7M. Brendo's now in towards Cigar Lounge with a minute left, so Bliss will start to try and get this foothold as they put pressure on site. Nate just lurking on the Warden over towards Cocktail, but it's KZ who peeks out through Pixel, gets the kill onto Fisher. That's the hard breach core. More fights to be had, and Brendo falls. KZ with a nice double for W7M. They needed that.
Yeah, he makes the UMP work there. Unfortunately, Bliss lining up, the spacing not quite there, and unfortunately, Brando struggling to get in this game. And now it's Oda on an island over towards Skylight. One gets fed to him. He has 30 seconds here. If this was an OS game, we'd be saying, oh, there's maybe a chance, right?
He's got to go immediately off that Logic Bomb. He drops straight, top red hatch, JV, peeks over towards the belt, spots him immediately. Oda will swing, gets the shot, gets the down. Now it's a 1v1 with 18 seconds left. Does he know KZ is over towards Lounge? He should. That's where the castle's been playing this entire round.
10 seconds for the quad.
10 seconds.
Oda pushing forward.
Swing him.
Needs to be aggressive. Swings, but KZ will shut him down, and Lounge on lockdown.
That is a massive round from KZ. On the castle, you don't have the keeper barriers from an Azami. It's not a fortified position. It's a very aggressive hold, and he's played it well to get multiple kills in that round for W7M. A round where Bliss got the opening kill, where they make that site vulnerable. He was able to respond, and these were big impact kills as well from Washrooms peeking out through Pixel. He got some really big kills, and eventually then wins the 1v1, goes 6 up in 3 rounds. And W7M, their experience is now just really shining through. They go around the world, 3-0 start. But again, reminder, this will be very defender-sided on Kafe. For Bliss, 1 round might even be enough to get them to OT. That's what we're kind of talking about. 2's definitely required, though, in my mind. I see W7M at least getting 2 attacking rounds.
Bit of cope, maybe?
A lot.
A lot?
A lot.
A good dose? Is that what you had for breakfast?
I think right now it's shaping up to be like a 5-1 half, potentially 6-0 could be on the cards. There's not going to be many opportunities on a map like Kafe. Kitchen's definitely going to be one of them. Bliss almost got it in the opening round. Another being Bar Cocktail. Bliss got the opening kill in that round. So there's 2 rounds in my mind already. Bliss have at least been competitive, but they didn't get a result for it. And competitive's not going to be good enough. There is no honourable losses at the major. You either win or you lose, and right now they're losing.
So no extension through the bakery here this time for W7M, and based on the attack of repicks, it looks like Bliss are willing to take and exploit this position up above. You can see the vertical being created by the defense. That's why they're bringing the likes of the Jackal. The Yana can scan ahead. Oda as well can deal with a bit of utility if required as well, and just has additional information available with the Roteros. So this is like a real, this feels like the real tester, right? If Bliss can pull off maybe a roam clear and actually look okay, they can kickstart something, but if they get stomped here, it's going to be even more difficult in my eyes to see them recover.
Well, Filippox got at least 1 kill in that last round when it came down to that sort of roam clear. So he at least got 1, and that's probably the goal then. If Bliss are going to go hunting on the Jackal with Brendo, I think as long as Filippox gets 1 kill, that's job done. And that means Bliss will not quite be at full strength going into that side push. KZ also lurking around shop, lounge, and he might just get a kill here. Oh, does get tagged back, holds his position, very aggressive hold. Knows that one has dropped top red, makes his, oh, what a shot into the head of Brendo from KZ. He's had a perfect start here in this match against Team Bliss. KZ 7-1. And can make his way back down White Stairs as well.
They just can't kill him. It's been incredibly challenging to deal with him throughout this match. It is a 4v4 though for Bliss, but time now begins to dwindle. Filippox as well, still up above, and the brothers Brendo Sage just walking into the arms of W7M and KZ. That's 8 kills now in the 4th round. And it does feel like it's beginning to unravel here for Team Bliss.
Definitely the first round in my mind where W7M are just flexing their muscles now over Team Bliss, especially KZ. He looks like he's just on another planet in terms of confidence to start in this match. In the first couple of rounds where it was at least a little bit 50-50, where there was some competitiveness from Bliss, he was the circuit breaker. And now in a round where he's got some help elsewhere from the likes of Filippox as well, he just continues. Jigsaw in a 1 versus 4, 50 seconds left against a team like W7M. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a 4-0 start for W7M. And surely after this, you would think Bliss will have to just cool off a little bit and take attack.
Have you heard the story of Jigsaw?
I have heard the story of Jigsaw.
Well, he died.
But that story is not one that is going to be shared at the major against W7M. That one's probably for Oceania League.
That's a bit ambitious.
Very, very ambitious. Rob would be proud.
Yeah, he would. God bless.
Well, right now though, W7M, Brazilian fans, they would be proud. This is a dream start. They have looked so clean, 4-0. And yes, you could look at Bliss and say, well, they're not a powerhouse team. They're from OCE. But this is a team that has done nothing but dominate their region, that have done well in at least their scrims against some top teams. We won't reveal who, but they've come in and they've just treated them with respect. They've played their game. They haven't gone too over-aggressive. They haven't gone too under-aggressive. They've just played a really well-balanced game so far from W7M. KZ definitely the standout, obviously, as obviously we're getting the tactical timeout from Bliss, very much needed. Nico will be speaking to them. I'm not sure what he would be saying, though.
I don't lip read, so I'm not entirely sure. We can theorize, of course, and I think that they're going to know, right? The win condition is shutting down KZ. He's just been so chaotic, and he keeps holding down these key positions for map entry to kickstart map control. And if you can't clear him, at least trade him out. It just causes a ricochet of issues throughout the rest of the round, and that's why they're finding it so difficult to get back in. That's why other players then make desperation moves, and then it just compounds, and that's why Jigsaw keeps getting left in these 1v4s.
The interesting thing for me is that W7M are not exactly doing anything too crazy. They've played this rather default, they've played this rather structured. You would expect that on a map like Kafe, but they're just so much cleaner, sharper, more switched on. They know where to get their trades from, and Bliss is struggling with that. They got a couple on the roam. I think it was round 3 where Filippox got traded after getting a kill. Yeah, Oda got one back, but you know, you're talking about KZ, for example. He hasn't been traded at all this whole game. He's just getting 2, 3 at a time, and no one is able to sort of respond. It just means that Bliss just keep kind of trickling in towards him, makes it rather easy. This site, though, definitely not going to be easy. Reading Fireplace we go for round number 5. Bliss need at least 1, in my mind, in this half. 2 would be ideal, which means they're going to win the next 2.
Now we are going to see Oda dabble in the Nook. An attacking operator that Bliss don't typically shy away from banning, but we'll now see it actually played out. And that might be something that Bliss can look to leverage to try and unlock a couple of these rounds, right? Try to catch a defender off guard, try to get some map control, at least hold down a rotation for other players, then pressure defenders out of position. We'll have to wait and see how that does play out. One player as well to know is probably Brendo. A disappointing start for him, and we know he's such a damn good player, but just hasn't quite been activated so far today.
Yeah. Obviously for W7M though, 9 for KZ, so very close to double digits already. Everyone else though, so balanced. 3 for Hertz, 3 for Nade, 3-4 for Leapox as well. On the smoke this round. Jigsaw though, Nade towards White Stairs. JV getting a bit of pressure here. He'll fall off. And give a little bit of respect to Bliss there and say, okay, you guys can have White Stairs. You've won that one. He's very low, doesn't want to lose his life. Yellow ping as well in towards shop. Some good droning there from Bliss, but they've lost 6 of them. So W7M at least responding in the drone game. They obviously got the Mozzie as well. And Brendo falls to the C4 of Herds. So again, another opening kill, another Nitrocell. That's the second one from that spot for Nade onto Oda. Deja vu. And now with just over 90 seconds remaining, the task gets even more insurmountable for Team Bliss. Sage this battle towards top white, in towards Cocktail. He has the ping, doesn't know there's a player to his left anyway, and KZ will go to magical 10, double digits in 5 rounds. And the Brazilians are very much switched on here.
And Jigsaw, again, 1v4. Time and time again. W7M just on a whole nother level. Bliss need to stop relying on repel play. We have seen the lineups and the timing from W7M has been near faultless, right? And they just do it again. So I think Bliss are just struggling to think of a couple ideas to get this win across the line.
Outclassed at the moment in all facets. W7M making an early statement here at the Copenhagen Major that they are here to win, to not mess around. And very much getting the job done early. And this round, once again, KZ, I love the push up towards Cocktail. Understanding the push was coming over from Planks, he repositions, he gets himself into a position to at least trade or peek first. So they've always got these backup plans in place, whereas Bliss are going on these little solo roams, these little solo adventures through top white, through Planks in toward Cocktail, or on the repel solo. They're not playing as this organized structure that we're seeing from W7M. And right now, they are getting taught a lesson as to how good they need to get to if they want to compete at the major.
And perhaps you are just tuning in to reiterate, the winner of this game continues through to the upper bracket. Loser goes down to the lower bracket and will face elimination today. So
yeah,
if Bliss don't get their act together, assuming they lose this game, it could be a very, very early major for them.
And I will say as well, again, Kafe, very defender-sided. Had these two teams swapped for the first half, I think we would have seen Bliss get a couple of rounds on the board. I'm not saying they would have gone 4-2 even, but at least maybe a 3-3 or 4-2 to W7M. At least it gets them a couple of rounds, but they had their chances. Opening round, round 3. You know, those are the kind of rounds where you really can't let those slip. You have to put the pressure on W7M early, because I tell you what, really every round that has played out so far, W7M are just getting better and better. And this game is really getting away from Bliss. It pretty much already has. 5-0 down.
Yeah.
It is Kafe, but still.
Well, we'll see Jigsaw lurk down below. Players stacked up above, so pretty standard here for Kafe. Oda keeping an eye on Freezer Hatch up through to Dining. I think that angle may be being held, or the outline is just tripping me. So there's a couple of positions down below, a couple of dangerous lurks here for Bliss that may pay off, but we need to see pressure on the defense. Fisho, again, another Claymore kill on this map.
That's like his 3rd out of his 4 kills have come from Claymores. Yeah. But hey, well placed from Fisho, and understanding where maybe W7M want to get their aggressiveness.
And it's KZ. Yeah. So you can't really complain too much about that. He just gets a little bit overzealous on this final defense.
Recovered the diffuser.
It feels like they've been trending in that direction the last couple of rounds, obviously with W7M. As they're getting these rounds, they're getting more and more confident as to what they can get away with, what Bliss won't punish. But this is the second time now in this half where Bliss have gotten that opening kill. They've got a 5 versus 4 lead, but it's these on-site executions that have really let them down, and some really stalwart defense from W7M. Yeah, they can get aggressive early in these rounds, they can roam, they can lurk, but when it comes time to execute onto site, they can hold really well. Jigsaw just gets caught, well and truly, from above, from Nade. Easy kill. Jigsaw once again unable to make an impact in the round.
So we'll see the repel game once again from Bliss, but they don't have to fear Nitros, none left none available for W7M. Sage able to get an entry, gets aggressive, sprays down, but they're getting mowed down. 2v2 though. Oda, Sage to try and win the one and only attack for Bliss.
40 seconds, so you've got time. You don't have to rush this. You've got a little bit of information, at least on JV, in towards washrooms. What a sightline, though, towards Sage. But Oda gets the big kill. 35 seconds now. 2 versus 1 for the second time in this half. Bliss cannot mess this one up, and they don't. Oda, the best player in the region, gets the round-winning kill. Bliss are on the board.
Look, I know you said off camera that a 1-5 may be recoverable.
Now that it's happened?
But
You want my new opinion?
I'm not so convinced.
No. Yeah. I did, obviously, to give some clarity, I did say off camera when we were looking at Kafe, when we were looking at the map and how this might play out, I said, you know what, Kafe is so defender-sided, it wouldn't be that unimaginable to think that from a 5-1 deficit that maybe Bliss could do something on the defense. Now that I've seen how good W7M have been in this game, they are just not giving Bliss many opportunities. It's going to be so difficult. But what I will say, and I'll get the bottle of copium out right now, round 1, round 3, and then what we saw there in round 6. If Bliss were just that little bit better and they were a bit sharper, they probably could have gotten at least 2-3 rounds there. They let some good opportunities go. But in the rounds where they weren't competitive, they got smashed.
There's a window. It's very small. Very small. But it is possible. Bliss need to start off well. And must start off well. They need to be winning the 2 primary sides. Absolute bare minimum.
Well, who was it yesterday? Elevate, I think, against SSG, wasn't it, right? Where SSG got off to a massive start and then Elevate brought it back on their defense. Like, it's similar to that in my mind, or at least that's how it's got to be. Bliss can lose this game 7-4, 7-3 or whatever, but you've got to get a couple of rounds here on the defense of Kafe. Forget the scoreboard, forget that it's 5-1. You are now defending on Kafe. 67% defensive win rate in both regions, Oceania and Brazil. You've got to do well here. Now, they do go for that cigar shop extension. They've got themselves the castle barricade. This is something that you like to play.
I love playing this. Well, this is the O special. Typically, teams will extend through shop. Lounge, unless Azami is in play, is often a bit more hands-off, and they'll rely on deeper angles from washrooms, etc., holding Pixel. We're not going to see the likes of, how we saw KZ hard lock down that position. Bliss will lean into shop, try to make plays from there. I think it's Fisho playing it currently. But we're going to see W7M, they themselves lean into the Repel game. They may not even really want to push that side of the map all too much at all.
Only 1 drone eliminated at the moment for Bliss. That's not good. Really good drone work from W7M, and they're getting the yellow pings out on site, and you've got the Roteros as well going in for the Flores, and that's why Herds just got that open kill. Yellow pings on Brendo. Really solid drone work from W7M, and it will punish Bliss here early on their defensive start.
Now, thankfully for Bliss, the Ying has been banned out, so that warden was really just a gun up regardless. I mean, there are still flashbangs available, so something that could have been valuable to the defense. That information, though, it's great. You can see Jigsaw down below. Sol's trying his best to gain information, but the second he tries to do that, he's under fire, under pressure, and forced back.
Yeah, did he get a couple of drones for that little hunt? So from 1 to 4 now destroyed, but KZ makes his way in towards Belt. Are they even aware of this? They will be now. Oda cops a couple of bullets to the face. That shield won't do much, and Fisher Guy loses his life. KZ up to 13-3 is just menacing here on Kafe against Bliss. Forget the 5-1 copium. It's all W7M as they look to put 7 on Bliss. 1 round to go.
Yeah, W7M putting on a little bit of a clinic so far in this game. Did a great job clearing Brendo early on. You could see the amount of information they were able to gather. Add that on top of the Flores, Roteros as well. There was just yellow pings absolutely everywhere around that site. Jigsaw trying his best there on the solos to clear that information, but you could see those areas were being zoned out, so he couldn't necessarily do a whole lot to deal with that. And then unfortunately, control was forfeited, that repel allowed, and just completely crumbled there for Bliss.
Even the replay operator feeling bad for Bliss, just re-showing the 1 round that Bliss were able to win from the round prior to the last. 6-1 lead for W7M, and they are firmly in a position to move on. Honestly, not just from this game, I think from this group stage as well. They've got their sights firmly set on phase 2 onwards. It's really, I don't think, going to be a contest for this group. W7M, you would imagine from here, should be able to get out rather comfortably because they look so good.
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, been very impressive, but look, to be fair, our expectations have probably been met. Sure, they finished third in Brazil, but third in Brazil is pretty damn good.
I did say third in Brazil is probably better than all of the top teams in APAC, so fortunately, we are getting very much, though, a taste of what these top regions really, really look like. Obviously, yesterday, a lot of talk was about APAC and its lack of competitiveness. Obviously, Bliss, they are a part of that, and they are now a part of said lack of competitiveness. Is the scoreline indicative, though, of some of the rounds? I can't even bring myself to say it. No, they've been smashed. They've been smashed.
That copium has been thrown away.
I think the bottle's empty. I'm just going to throw it out. It's gone. It's expired. Yourself from Jigsaw, though. Looking for a position here over towards top red. Blows it early, though. Oh, there's it's going to be a Gemini.
Or was it?
It is. Oh, Fisher, though, loses his life early in the round, and W7M further pain put in towards Bliss. So for Bliss now, after they lose this game, it's best of threes onward if they want to progress on to phase 2. They'll have to win 2 best of threes in their respective group to move forward. That is a very difficult task. Herds towards red, stairs, he peeks on down. Absolute clinical display, though. KZ, again, goes to 14. He would have dropped 20 plus in this game if Bliss were competitive.
Looking for more. A 4v3 now for W7M. They'll get control in through Whiskey, headed by JV92. Closet still being held, but Sage low on HP, so that'll be a tricky swing to make. He goes for it anyway, but doesn't land the shots now. A 2v4, Oda, Brendo exchanging some jewels. Oda forced back though, and Brendo looking to flank.
Oda has responded really as the game has gone on. Top fragger for Bliss after a bit of a slow start. Brendo, though, pushes down, gets at least one, and the down onto JV92. Philippe Pox peeks out just outside pillars. Brendo, can he salvage this round? I don't think he's going to be capable as that diffuser goes down. Never mind. Still a chance. Gets off of it. Over towards Freezer. Bottom canister blows up. And Brendo loses his life. It's all too easy for W7M. They put 7 on Bliss. They'll move forward in this side of the bracket.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon it double. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems I solve them. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression, it's all that I wanted. The phone and affection, I summon it double. Why you be all on my line about nothing? Why won't you go get you $1 or something? Don't hang with a who love for nothing. I see yeah, we different, you ride and I double my dough. Discussions on brag about hundreds. So go to your places, I know that they sunken. Don't call me your brother, I barely would trust you. I took to a shorty, she bagging the bucket. And I'ma need all of my dollars on corporate, so hand me the money, I divvy the pie. I'ma give all of my people a portion to build them a fortune on flipping the ride. I can't be mixing with iffy the bob. And 40 and 50 is really the time. Why is you all on my phone like you want me? Like you wasn't pushing the kid to the side. I run through the money, the pressure be calling. Left on my blessings, I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back, tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling.
W7M will progress forward in Group D after a rather comfortable win against Team Bliss, really. In the end, 7-1 was a very much fair result, probably a result we were somewhat expecting as well. The Australians, unfortunately, not good enough for the Juggernauts from Brazil. Third place in their region, but top probably just about everywhere else.
Comfortable was a very nice way to put it. It could probably be described as a thrashing, a smashing. A clinic, though, would probably be the best way I would describe it, right? They had the systems in place. They didn't push the boundaries or the limits too much on a map like Kafe. We didn't see a whole lot of new stuff, but they made it work really well. And, of course, they had KZ absolutely running right inside of the server, being put in these key positions, and Bliss, unfortunately, didn't quite have the systems in place to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up KZ. Very much the MVP from this match. He was outstanding. Some of the positions he was playing at times, especially in that first half. You know, those are the aggressive positions. Those are the positions where you've got to play well, and if you don't, you'll get punished, and he played extraordinarily well. And from there, everyone else just kind of fell in line for W7M. Clean, methodical, default, probably the best way to phrase it as well. As you said, we didn't really see too much that made us believe that we were going to really see any kind of trend-setting stuff from W7M. They just played pretty much standard siege, and obviously that was far too good for Bliss, who, yeah, they had a couple of rounds maybe in the first half. They had some opportunities. We saw there on the highlights to begin that very opening round, 2-1 on Kitchen, and then they lost the 1v2. So, you know, credit obviously though to W7M, and that's a big lesson for Bliss. They don't get these opportunities that often to play against these caliber of teams, so they'll take a lot away from this.
Well, I hope so for their sake, right? Because now they're down in the lower bracket. They might be going home today if they don't really sort it out quick, fast. So hopefully for the best of three, it's a slight improvement for them.
Yeah, obviously, what is it? We got Wolves and Varel later, so not really an easy task there. Obviously, though, for W7M, one more best of one that they win, and they can go straight to phase 2. And for us, we've got Ginny, who's got Philippox for an interview. Ginny?
Yeah, we have Philippox for an interview indeed, and that was quite the lesson for Bliss, as some of the casters just mentioned. 7-1 victory, probably the quickest game we've had so far.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. How does that feel?
It was a simple match for us. Like we prepared. We knew it was going to be Kafe, and it wasn't an easy match.
So going to that map pick, actually, you knew it was going to be Kafe. That's a prep coming into play.
Yeah. We knew that it could be Kafe or other map, but like we knew that probably Kafe. So we prepared a lot, and they did everything that we thought they would do. So it was pretty easy, yeah.
I mean, it did look that way. Now, this is the first time that you guys playing as a 5-man on LAN after some of the roster changes.
Yeah.
Previous roster, you guys had a really good run at SI. So how is it like being here for the first time as 5?
Yeah, it's my first major, so it's a nice feeling to be here. And it's the first major like for this 5-man, like you said. So it feels pretty good to be here. I don't know.
Yeah, what have you learned so far? What's the #1 thing that you noticed?
Actually, I don't know. I don't know. It was easy for us. I don't know.
Yeah. So going forward, is there anything that you want to keep doing? Anything you want to change?
I think the preparation for the game was pretty good. So we're gonna keep that. Yeah.
Well, you guys also have a lot of support. So I want to ask if you want to share anything with the fans at home watching.
I'm going to speak Portuguese now to the fans. Obrigado, torcida aí, galera que acordou cedo aí pra ver a gente. Obrigado a todo mundo aí que tá aí. E bora pra cima agora, próximo jogo quinta contra o vencedor de Wolves contra Varel. E é isso, tamo junto aí.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. It was very lovely. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to have a little break, and we'll be back with the second game of today.